fire today.
Sitting here in the dark, I realized I didn't turn the lights on.
The Podgram with Tom and Christy.
It's sad that this is the world that we live in.
Here, let me stop and tie my shoe right in front of you so you can't drive.
The Podgram.
All of a sudden, I hear,
Well, I don't care.
Join the conversation. 855-PODGRAM.
You bust your ass.
yeah.
The Podgram with Tom and Christy starts now.
Well, welcome to our Monday. It is Monday, right? Yeah, Monday Podgram. We have just finished up the weekend with Father's Day. And so much we've got. Well, yeah, actually, today we have a lot of stuff to cover because there's just so much stuff out there. This is what happens when I actually leave the house. I have stuff. Right now, let's say hello to our good friend, Christy Bush. Good morning to you.
And good morning to you also.
Well, indeed. Indeed. It's always a good morning, you know, when we wake up on the upper side of the grass, right?
It is.
Yeah. How was your weekend?
Well, I'm not sure if you can tell, but I got some sun this weekend.
You look like you were out by the pool or gardening or something.
Both.
Oh, Gretchen is and Joshua Edgel are joining us on Facebook Live. Yeah, woo! Thanks so much for hanging out with us.
I was, in fact, gardening. I have an 18-foot by 10-foot garden with probably, I don't know, like 10 different varieties of stuff in there.
Yeah.
And I realized my cucumbers are starting to take over, and I think they formed their own hierarchy. And they're now, like, forming armies, so I had to tame them, fight them back, and put them in their place.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that took a little effort, and then I had to, you know, and it got a little crazy in the backyard.
Let me tell you. Let me start off. It was Father's Day over the weekend.
Yes. And happy belated Father's Day, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. I got a really cool new shaver that actually cuts the hair instead of yanking it out. It was like an epilady.
Yeah.
My old one was getting to be like an epilady. You know, where it would just rip the hair.
Oh.
I know, it was bad. But so that was cool. But last night, we decided we were going to go to Red Lobster.
Ooh.
And so I had to go do a transmitter first. So the whole hee-haw gang went to the transmitter, and I did that, and then we went to Red. Now, understand that Red Lobster is about an hour away from here.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so where I live, we don't have anything close by.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we live out here in Hazard, Kansas. So, first of all, it's an hour. I told Melanie, I said, listen, you sure you want to go today? Because it's going to be crowded, and we're going to have to wait. And so we waited 45 minutes for a table, which you understand that. That happens.
That happens here.
Yeah. And on Father's Day, you expect that to happen. Or
Yeah,
any kind
absolutely.
any kind of holiday, you expect there to be wait time. That's fine.
Yeah.
So they stick us in this booth. Apparently, they don't have fat people that eat there very often because the booth. Listen, my teenage daughter had the table in her stomach. We all did. And so I ended up having, because I have 3 hernias, so I ended up having to ask the waitress to bring me a chair so I could sit at the end of the booth.
Oh.
So that my gut wasn't wrenched into the table, you know, at like warp speed, you know.
That's terrible.
I know. So, okay, so that's fine. It happens, right? It happens. All right. Arrange the furniture so that it's, you know, so that you maximize the number of tables you can have. I get it, right? Okay.
That's awful.
So they come back around to take drink orders. Now, bear in mind that it's at this point, it's after 8.
Mm-hmm.
People are leaving. Tables are becoming vacant. There isn't much going on at this point, right? Okay. You know, like 20 minutes later, our drinks show up at the table, and they're all wrong. Well, they're not all wrong, but some of them are wrong, right? Okay. So then she's going to take our order. I wanted just some plain, simple fish and chips. I didn't want any clams. I didn't want shrimp. I didn't want combination platter. I didn't want any of that stuff.
Nothing fancy.
Nothing. Look, fry me some fish, slap me some fries, and let's go with it, right? That's all I wanted. Gina Jeffrey is in the Facebook Live.
Go, Gina.
Thanks for hanging out with us. Anyway, Okay, so we start with the kids menu. I don't know why they gave us the kids menu, because they didn't have anything left on the kids menu.
What?
They had no chicken strips left. They had no macaroni and cheese. We had to order so Melanie says, okay, how about cheese sticks and fries? My kids won't eat seafood. They just won't, they won't touch it with a frozen rope. They're not going to have it.
My daughter will, which is crazy.
Yeah, well, my kids won't touch that stuff with a frozen rope. They have no kid-friendly food whatsoever. So we're ordering off the appetizers menu to try to make them something to eat, right? And
I hope they at least cut you a deal.
Oh, wait, you haven't heard I'm just getting started. Now, meanwhile, there's this family behind us with some kid who's 5, right? Screaming. And it wasn't, I'm hungry, I crapped myself. It wasn't that kind of screaming and crying. It was, I'm not getting my way screaming. It's, you're not giving me attention screaming. It's, oh, you think this is cute screaming.
I want attention.
Yeah, and so I want to dedicate part of our show today to parenting.
Yes.
Because there isn't a whole lot of that going on, and we've got a video actually that will back that up, and we'll do that here in a few minutes. But I got to finish bitching first about
that blew my mind.
Yeah, I got to start.
Sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, Emily. Emily's in the chat room. Let me give her some claps too, because she doesn't think that I was being. Yeah, we're talking about dinner last night. What an awful, let me tell you right now, Red Lobster in Cary, the most awful experience I've ever had out to eat. This is why I don't go out to eat, because the thing is, when you look at the menu, the adult menu prices, they start at $25. They start at $25 for something for the adult menu, which is way too much. This is because people at the burger places want $15 an hour, and they got to raise the prices everywhere to cover that. That's what
something like that.
Yeah, that's what that's all about. Anyway, why is that? Anyway, so the waitress comes back. So Melanie says, okay, let's make something for each of them out of cheese sticks, French fries, and there was something else. I forget what the other thing was. But anyway, so why is that popping up every 30 seconds? I don't care. Whatever. So there was something else, and then so the waitress comes back, after she brought our drinks, after she took our orders, and brings a manager with her, and the manager's like, well, we only have 2 orders of cheese sticks left. We don't have 3.
Oh, you've got to be kidding.
So basically what's happened is they ran out of all the kids' food is what happened. They didn't forecast correctly. They ran out.
Crazy.
Yeah, they ran out of chicken fingers. They ran out of this. They ran out of that. They ran out of the other thing, right?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what happened there. Well, so all right. So we got the kids chicken wings, appetizers, because that's all there was. That's all they had.
Oh my word!
With no sauce on them, And so I think Travis ate them, and that was it. I don't think there was anybody else had anything else. I don't think any of the other kids ate anything else. Steve had some mozzarella sticks, and he wouldn't touch anything else. So, okay, now, they've been eating for 20 minutes, and now they're done. And our food hasn't come yet. Now, our food comes. And our kids are ready to go home. It's 9:30 now. They don't want to hang out while we eat anymore. They're done. So the waitress comes up, and Melanie says, look, just go ahead and box it up. We got to go.
Yeah.
We don't have time for the BS. I mean, the kids are done. They're not going to sit here and watch us eat. So just box the crap up and let's go. So they leave the trays of food on the concourse, the area between the tables where people walk.
Yeah.
And before she boxed it up, there were first of all, rowdy family with the loud kid. They were leaving, and they hung all over it and looked at it and walked by and bumped into the thing. And it's so our food's being bumped by people now. People are like hanging out over, talking over it. Yeah, I mean, it's like, look, lady, what's your problem? And then some old lady on a cane comes by and runs into one of the stands that had our food sitting on it and almost knocked it over. Probably lost some of her blue hair in it. And then she went on. And so Rowdy Kid almost kicks the table over. It's like a little scissor stand.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, with a tray on it. Mm-hmm. There must have been 30 people that went by that and in close proximity. I'm like, that's really just nasty. There's no reason that should have been left out there for everybody to... It's almost like, I could almost see somebody walking by and grabbing a fry. Oh, look, here's a fry. I'll take that. It was almost like that. It didn't happen, but it was almost like that. And then she boxes it up. It takes her forever to box it up. They were all interested in at this point in cleaning so they could go home on time and not so much on service, right? So we left. We took the stuff, we left. No, they didn't really cut. I mean, I think they didn't charge us for our drinks, maybe. I think that's what it was. Now, Melanie sent me to go get the van. And
so that you didn't blow a gasket.
Because, she was blowing gaskets. Because it's funny, because when the waitress came back when they were out of cheese sticks, and she wouldn't tell us they were out of cheese sticks, she brought the manager to tell us, and he came over and said, "Hey, how you doing?" And she says, "I don't know. You tell me how I'm doing." She was getting pissed.
And she's like, speaks quietly, but carries big stick.
Well, sometimes she doesn't speak very quietly. And so...
But, if she gets loud, it's like, oh, look out.
I'm going to be completely honest with you. They should have, knowing the shortcomings and the failures that had happened at the restaurant last night, they should have, without question, just said, look, we're comping you the bill. Just have a good night.
Yeah.
Just come back and see us. I'll never go back there again. I will never. And I'm going to call them today. I'm going to tell them never coming back. And I'm going to review them on Google reviews.
Yep.
I'm going to beat the piss out of them on Google reviews, because you know what? There is no reason. There is, especially not on a holiday weekend.
Yeah, exactly. On Father's Day,
because that's the day that a lot of people will come out to a restaurant that normally wouldn't go out to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Joey Morgan, welcome to Facebook Live. Appreciate you hanging out with us. We're right now. We're bitching about Red Lobster, where my family went to eat last night. And it was just a fiasco. It was awful. And I'll never go back there again. So if you're going to give me gift cards, not Red Lobster. Please not Red Lobster. No.
And not in Cary.
Texas Roadhouse. That's what you want to get for somebody that you care about. Texas Roadhouse.
See, now, Texas Roadhouse, when we were there, I've only been there once. It was good. I liked it, and I have 2 free appetizer coupons, because when we went, we found a hair in my food.
I hate when that happens. That's almost like the time I went to the boys from Italy up there in Rome and found glass in my calzone. I didn't care. I ate it anyway. Put the glass over here on the side. I'll eat the rest.
Did anything get broken while Attention Kid was there?
No, but my problem with Attention Kid was that his parents should have just said, they should have handled it. Now, if my kids were acting like that, I'd have to take them out.
Yeah.
We'd have to go. Matter of fact, I had to threaten Steve. Steve's 3. You expect a 3-year-old to be a little bit unruly.
Yes.
But not to the point where he is screaming at the top of his lungs and disturbing the entire establishment, while the parents are laughing and thinking it's funny.
And probably heads buried in their phones.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Probably. But if Steve or Trav or any of my children were acting like that, they would have been led out to the van by their collar, and we would have sat in the van. I'd have whacked them before I put them in the van, and then if they calm back down and figure out how to act in public, then maybe I would have brought them back in.
See, it's a wonder my kids ever became potty trained. Ever. Because they were so afraid of the bathroom.
Oh, Emily was like that. Emily would...
Because if they acted out and they needed a timeout...
Yeah.
You know? I would go, do you need to go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
do you need to go to the bathroom?
Emily had a hard time at the campground because they had these automatic flushing things. It had the little eye on the wall, and when you stood up, the toilet automatically flushed. Because, there are people, not generally at a campground, but there are people, hey, Tim Marini likes our video, appreciate that. There are people who they don't know how the little handle works, apparently. Because you walk into a public bathroom, and you look, and somebody forgot how to press the handle. So they eliminate that problem by making it automatic, so as soon as you walk away. Now, the caveat to that is that sometimes it flushes while you're sitting on it.
Yeah, if you take too long. It
sees movement, and it assumes that you're getting up. And so the Dave Solomon hanging out, appreciate it. The campground toilets are pretty violent when they flush. They're almost like prison toilets. You can almost flush a bed sheet down those things. And so Emily wouldn't get near the bathroom when she was a kid because she was afraid it was going to suck her down, and it might have. So Melanie had to go put tape over the eye, and Emily wouldn't get on it unless, okay, let me see the tape, let me inspect the tape and make sure it's all there, and she was probably, it was a year since she wouldn't do that, but, so that's funny. So, of course, Steve would see that and probably play with it now.
See, I took a page out of my parents' rule book, and did that. So, speaking of Father's Day.
Yes.
Of all things, my brother wrote this really, really great piece called "The Invisible Ones," and it's not long, but he was talking about how there's seldom any pictures of my dad and actually my brother from when they were younger. Yeah. Because they're always the ones who are behind the camera.
Right.
They're always the ones taking the pictures. And that, he talked about the 4 life lessons and that he hopes that he passed them on to his son. Yeah. And I think I've talked about the four life lessons before, and they're hilarious. And what he wrote about them was really funny. And I wanted to, if I have a quick minute, I wanted to read it quick.
Sure. That's cool. But before we do that,
absolutely.
Let's do this.
The Podgram with Tom and Christy. Join the conversation. 855-PODGRAM.
That's 18 minutes after right now as we're doing the Podgram. We're live on YouTube and Facebook, and you can always catch us on TuneIn 24 hours a day in case you didn't feel like you were punished enough listening to the live show. So there you go. Well, today we're talking about bad parenting. People who, we're talking about bad lots of stuff. Red Lobster in Cary, North Carolina. They're awful. They suck. I will never go back there again. And there was also a family with an unruly kid that they thought it was kind of cutesy that he was being a pain in the ass, disrupting the entire restaurant. And now we're back around to Christy, who she's sharing life lessons from your brother. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, my brother said that he had a hard time remembering what my dad looked like when he was younger. Yeah. Like before my dad passed away 5 years ago at age 67. Yeah. So we have lots of pictures of him when he was older. Yeah. When his hair had gotten white and, but to have pictures of him when he was younger, when we were younger. Yeah. He said, I had a hard time remembering what my father looked like. I mean, I have pictures of him, but they're mostly the ones that we took late in life. He said, I know he was there because, he taught me how to drive a car. He taught me how to field ground balls, because he played baseball when he was a kid. He said, I remember everything he taught me. Well, almost everything. He taught me that there were 3 rules to life. Well, maybe there were 4. I don't know exactly. To my recollection, there were 4, which there were actually 5. But anyway, always tell the truth. Learning to tell the truth was not easy. Lies slip off the tongue, very self-serving. It's very tempting to lie and cover something up. And it's embarrassing, but it means that you have to push the consequences off a little. I remember when we lived in Rome, here, when we were little.
Yeah.
And I threw a baseball through the neighbor's window. I ran back inside the house and hid on the couch, terrified that they'd find out. I knew I'd feel some pain if I got caught, and of course, I lied about it, which made the punishment worse. After I'd found out, my father told me that telling the truth is hard, but in the end, lying is harder.
Yeah.
Men step up, he said. Men take ownership, he said. I'll trust a thief before I'll trust a liar. With a thief, you always know what they're going to do, but with a liar, you're never really sure. Number 2, act with personal honor. I think I've talked about personal honor before. This is a huge thing with me, like personal honor.
Big with the Klingons, too.
I know. Personal honor is about as vague and amorphous as a statement as you can make.
Yeah.
What is personal honor anyway? I think of it as simply the ability to identify what the right thing to do is and act on it.
Yeah.
To do right without having someone standing over your shoulder. Personal honor is to not take advantage of someone in need, not taking more than you're owed, and considering the needs and feelings and perspectives of others.
Yeah.
My dad used to refer to himself as Dudley Do-Right, not realizing that he was probably a Canadian kids show. He always did the right thing, even if it produced a worse situation for himself. Number 3, don't be afraid to fail. This one I have a hard time with.
If I was afraid to fail.
I know.
What else is there?
He says, I never had a problem with this. Failing is, I'm not ashamed to say, something I excel at. I don't know how many times he walked off the baseball field feeling like the whole world was mad at me. My dad would simply say, we'll practice until we're better at it. I learned to see failure not as a reflection of me or my capabilities necessarily, but as an invitation for improvement, an opportunity to learn something new.
Yeah.
Number 4, learn to laugh at yourself.
Yeah.
This was the hardest one.
Yeah.
I've encountered a lot of thin-skinned, overly sensitive people in my travels, and they've always seemed to have one thing in common. They're not fun to be around. Loosen up. Laugh a little.
Yeah.
Laugh a lot.
Yeah.
Because nobody's perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that right there, that's like my dad. That's my dad in general, and I'm so proud that he passed those things on to me, and I'm passing those things on to my kids, and my brother's passing those things on to my kids. And maybe if Red Lobster parents had tried to be that kind of parent, there wouldn't be all of that crap going on.
Well, and there are so many people out there. No, Emily, it's not like I'm talking about you behind your back because you're listening. You're watching the video. The problem is there are too many parents out there who don't care what their kids do, and they don't supervise what their kids do, and their kids just run willy-nilly. And then when something goes wrong, they want to blame the person who was injured or who, had to deal with the problem instead of the parents. And we have John Scott over at Fox. We got a video right now that I think this would be a great time to share that video from the Fox report. So let's go ahead and go over there and get that rolling.
Try to put this on your American Express. Parents of a 5-year-old Kansas boy hit with a $132,000 bill after their son knocked over a sculpture on display at a community center. There it goes.
Watch him. There it goes.
The city's insurance company claims the sculpture, called Aphrodite de Kansas City, is damaged beyond repair, and that the parents were negligent for not supervising their boy. The boy's mother says it was an accident, and the art should have been protected. The parents have sent the bill to their own insurance company to try to resolve the dispute.
See now,
the parents are trying to say that the child is just an overly loving child and that he was simply trying to give the sculpture a hug.
But did you notice, Mom was sitting in the chairs in the foreground. The sculpture went over, the kid fell down, and Mom just sat there for a couple of minutes, just looked on, like, man, boy, that looked like it sucked a little bit. And then finally she gets up and kind of casually strolls over.
Like, oh, Timmy, what did you do now?
Oh, gosh, yeah. Yeah.
$132,000 sculpture. First of all, I mean, where are they?
And, of course, the parents say this. The mother says, well, it should have been protected.
It should have been better protected.
But she should
have been watching her dang child.
She was sitting there iPhoning. And with the other, I guess that might be another one of her kids or something, somebody sitting next to her.
Well, let's watch it again, and let's watch what Mom's doing.
I closed it. No, I didn't. Let's replay it. Let's replay and watch it again. Here we go.
Now that we know what happened.
American Express, parents of a 5-year-old Kansas boy hit with a $132,000 bill after their son knocked over a sculpture.
There's Mom right there
at a community center. There it goes. Boom.
Now look, she's sitting there on the phone.
Sculpture called Aphrodite.
Oh, let me get up.
Is damaged beyond repair.
Pull the audio from that. Oh, well, let me get up. I guess I better go see what happened over here. Oh, Timmy, what did you do? Oh, my goodness.
And the kid's running away.
Yep.
Like, he just runs away. She doesn't, I mean, if one of my kids, either one of my kids, and we all know that my kids are batshit crazy. I totally take responsibility for my kids being beasts.
Yeah.
And I up front tell you that my kids are nutty.
Hey, Scotty,
I know that.
Happy Father's Day, a little late.
Take total responsibility for it.
Yeah.
But if my kids did something like that, they would run to me.
Yeah.
Because they know.
Yeah.
And I have told them, if you tell me first, you will be in less trouble than if I have to find out about it later.
My kids still think they're going to pull something over on me. But the thing is, in a public place like that, I'm pointing over there because that's where the video screen is. I got an email from someone who watches on occasion, wondering, because I'm always doing something in the background here, and I don't always switch over to you by yourself before I start doing it. And so let me give you let me show this scene from time to time. Let me show you, this is where I'm working right here on the left side of your screen. And, there's different videos and, all this stuff. So there's stuff for me to do over here. So I get busy with it, So when
I'm looking down, you see, like, you're all new school, I'm all old school,
your paper there.
And I take notes on notebook paper.
Well, I mean, look, though, but we need all this garbage here to make it all work. Yeah. This is kind of why it all works, and so... And
I guess I just need this.
Yeah.
And paper.
See, this is Facebook Live right here, and then we can, it's just a regular web browser. We switch it over, we can do YouTube Live and watch the YouTube video and interact in that chat room. This is over here. This is the video that we just showed, and and then this is the control monitor where we switch the scenes and stuff like that. And this is just this is for porn.
Well, on that note, it is hour.
It is, absolutely.
Podgram with Tom and Christy. I'm walking to people talk about nothing. Join the conversation. 855-PODGRAM.
It's 32 inches of monitor bliss right there. It is 29 minutes past the hour. So far today, we've been bitching and pissing about bad children, parents who don't make them listen, children who go and do unruly stuff all the time, and we have a severe lack of parenting in this country. And as you watch that video, Mom just sits there after the sculpture hits the floor, the kid's laying on it. Mom just kind of hangs out for a few minutes. Yeah. When she finally resolves to get up off of her butt and go do something, she just kind of halfway stands up and pauses, and then takes a few steps and then pauses. Buttons and flashing lights. Yes, happy Father's Day to you too, Scotty. A little late, but thank you. Oh, look, we got a phone line ringing. Oh, that's I can't answer that one right now. That's not for us. That's not for us. Anyway, So, so she just kind of halfway gets up and walks over, and it's like, you know what? Just like the people in the restaurant last night, their kid was being unruly. They didn't care. They thought it was funny. They thought it was cute. It's not cute. You're the only person who thinks your kid being bad is cute. Everybody else wants to squash them like a grape.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know, and you couldn't say anything to these particular people because you'd have been a racist.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say about that. So there you go. Yeah. So my horrible experience with Red Lobster and Carrie. Look for the Google review later.
Well, the other item that's kid related that was in the news that I tweeted about, that I could get on a soapbox about this and not get off for 3 weeks, and it would not be enough.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a reality show junkie.
Yeah.
Well, one of my reality show addictions is Teen Mom, Teen Mom OG, and Teen Mom 2.
Yeah.
And the Teen Mom OG series which stands for Original Girls. Mm-hmm. One of the original girls was Farrah Abraham. And Farrah's story was that her baby's father was killed in a car accident about 3 months before her child was born.
Yeah.
Now, this being said is not reason for her to have turned into what she has turned into.
Yeah.
Over the course of the time that she has been on the show, she has had breast implants, a nose job. She's had some sort of work done on a fair amount of her body, which isn't unfair because other stars of the show have had work done.
Yeah.
But she's used hers for evil instead of good.
Yeah.
She has a line of adult toys, adult movies, adult webcam series.
Yeah.
For which she has been exited the show. Mm-hmm. She has been asked to leave the show.
Yeah.
Just this past season, they found out that she was going to do an exclusive live naked web thing, and they said, if you're going to do this, you're off the show.
Yeah.
And she said, well, you can't tell me what to do because I'm free, white, and 25, or wherever she is.
Right.
And so she chose to leave, which is awesome because she treats everyone in her presence like crap.
Yeah.
She absolutely is ridiculous. She screams at people. She belittles people. Every production assistant that she had ever had to work with, she had a problem with and attempted to fire. She had gone through, I think, 11 production assistants in the 10 seasons that they've been to.
Yeah, let me sidestep for a second and ask Scotty if the overmodulated audio is better now. I guess we were splattering on Facebook, so.
Oh,
yeah,
that's not good.
Yeah, I mean, I splatter all the time. I'm a fat guy. That's what I do, but it made you snort. That's great. I love it.
So Farrah is in the news because last Thursday she got arrested.
Yeah. Because
she was drunk in a hotel lobby, and she was in the hotel to do the MTV Movie Awards.
Yeah.
She was attending the MTV Movie Awards with her daughter.
Yeah.
With her daughter.
Yeah.
Who's 10. No. 8, 10, somewhere in there. So she's attending the MTV Movie Awards. She's drunk in the hotel lobby. She apparently hit a security guard in the arm, and there was some kind of physical altercation, and she was around. She claims she was never arrested. She was just taken into custody and taken down to the police station where I guess she sobered up and was released later. But actually she was arrested for assault, and she was released on $500 bail.
Sweet.
So she immediately goes and gets Botox.
Oh, sure, because you got to have that.
Fresh out of jail, let's do Botox,
sure,
right?
Why not? Get a pedi while
you know.
Yeah.
let's not go explain to your kid why mommy went to jail. Right?
You're right.
Let's go do Botox.
Yeah.
So, and where is her kid while all this is going on? She's probably in the hotel room with her grandmother.
Yeah.
Okay? Which she has this contentious relationship with, right?
Yeah.
She's constantly fighting with her, telling her mother is like abusive and horrible. But who was she with? With that woman.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's good parenting
People
right there.
People ain't got no learning. That's all I'm trying to say.
Now, she uses this child like an accessory. She's constantly involving her in adult matters that are absolutely none of her business. She has explained to Sophia that she has an adult business.
Yeah.
That she does adult videos. She walks around so scantily clad, she might as well be friggin' naked.
Yeah.
And how come nobody sees this as abusive?
Yeah. It's almost the same deal. We talk about TV. We were on I was on kind of a rant one day last week about TV and how sexuality on TV they go further with it now. I mean, they used to be. Now let me just tell you what they do now. They show people having sex just because they don't actually show the private parts. They show them on top of each other, naked, humping.
Yeah.
There's no imagination left. I mean, there's nothing left to your mind to figure out. They're showing the act. The fact that they're not showing genitalia, that's a whole separate issue, really.
And now they're freely showing butts on TV.
Oh, yeah. And the language has changed.
Andy Sipowicz.
Yeah, and particularly on cable, the networks aren't as bad. They're bad. They're not as bad. But we're more as adults, we're more tempered. We're more callous. We don't, we're more conditioned to see things like that without giving any consideration. I mean, it used to be once upon a time, I knew if my kids came in the room, I didn't have to stop the show I was watching.
Yeah.
I knew, this is on network TV. Nothing's going to happen. Now, not so much. Now, you better stop it because they're not going to stop at a little bit of kissing and hugging and, listen, we're grown people. You can do the kissing and the hugging and maybe start unbuttoning a shirt and then cut the scene to the next thing. And we will know what happened. We get it. We understand what happened. You don't have to draw us a picture, which I guess that's kind of what TV is. But you don't have to be so damn explicit about it. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah.
And then you don't know, right? You don't know. Even shows that you would think are kind of immune to that sort of thing. That are, shows that you would think, like even the shows the kids are watching these days are showing all kinds of inappropriate things. I kind of got rebuked. Who rebuked me? Was it Becky? She said she made a comment about what's wrong with it. We were talking about same-sex relationships on TV and how they're shoving it in our face. They're putting these events into the show in places where they really have no other value other than, look, it's a same-sex relationship.
Yeah.
For the sake of putting it there, that's the only reason it's there.
Well, I was watching a wedding show.
Yeah.
It's a show called I Want This Wedding.
Yeah.
And their concept is they have this couple who can't agree on a budget. So they take the high end, whoever wants the high end, whoever wants the low end, and they take the couple to 3 weddings that sort of, showcase what they want in 3 separate weddings, and then they make them guess which one's the high, the middle, the low.
Yeah.
Well, Andy and I were watching, and I thought, well, what kind of harm could be in this type of show?
Yes.
I mean, you'd think, TLC, I want that wedding.
Yep.
How bad could it be?
Yep.
I think love is love. I'm happy-go-lucky. I think everybody's equal. I have no problem with same-sex relationships. Love is love.
Yeah.
But then I have to explain to my daughter, why are there 2 guys kissing?
Yeah.
And they made like a huge deal out of it. There was like they were lingering on it, and I don't want to see a husband and wife kissing and making out
we don't
fucking
look
face.
when we go to Walmart. We don't do that. We don't. There's no. I mean, look. The most that my wife and I will do is hold hands, maybe in public. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
We don't. But there's other. We don't slather each other and grope each other and, go sticking our tongue in each other's mouth in the middle of what. We don't do that.
Well, Phil and I have a joke about 7th grade dance.
Okay.
Have I ever told you the joke?
I don't think you. No, I don't think you have.
Okay. Well, once in a while, we listen to music in the kitchen.
Yeah.
When we're cooking. And when Andy and I are baking or whatever, we listen to music in the kitchen. Mm-hmm. And if a song comes on and I'll be in the kitchen dancing, or Andy and I are in there busting a move, whatever. And Phil comes in, once in a while, I'll make him dance with me in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And he'll take his hands and he'll kind of cup my butt cheeks.
Yeah.
And I'll go, no 7th grade dance. Because he says that that's the only reason that boys go to 7th grade dances is to get the opportunity to touch butt cheeks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because really, it's true.
Mel and I, the song Wonderful Tonight from Eric Clapton.
Yeah.
That's a song that every time we hear it, we dance to it.
That was his parents' first dance as a married couple.
Yeah. So, and it might have been ours. No. Ours was After the Lovin', Engelbert Humperdinck. And I sang it to her. I had my buddy play the karaoke track, and I sang it to her while we danced.
Ours was Leather and Lace.
Oh. Ours was Burning Hell. Anyway, so... no.
My sister-in-law Tanya's was Beast of Burden.
You know what I could never understand? I've so many times as a wedding DJ, I've had a bride-to-be ask me. They wanted to play Sometimes When We Touch from Dan Hill for their first dance. And while it's a very pretty song, if you pay attention to the opening lyrics, you asked me if I loved you, and I choked on my reply. I'd rather hurt you honestly than mislead you with a lie. And that's what you want to use for you. Are you sure?
I don't love you.
Are you sure that's your first dance? Scotty can relate to that, I'm sure. I'm sure he can. Anyway, so we were coming down the highway. We were in two vehicles coming down I-40 one day. And that song came on the radio, and I pulled over on the side of it. I was in the middle of an exit ramp, and I pulled over. And she was listening to the same radio station. We got out, and we turned the radio up loud, and we danced on the side of the highway. People were blowing their horns at us and waving at us and stuff like that. So yeah, that was we every time that song comes up, I go take her hand and we dance a little bit. But
we 7th grade dance in the kitchen, and like once in a great while. And once in a great while, I will stand in the kitchen and I'll give him a super big hug. Yeah. Arms above his head, around his neck kind of hug. But there's nothing really, there's not much more than that. I mean, we don't even sit on the couch together.
Yeah.
Because he likes to lay on the floor. I like to sit on the couch.
Yeah.
So we're seldom even in the same car together.
Yeah. Yeah.
But obviously something's working because we've been together 18 years.
Well, I mean, so there's that, right? There's that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't like, I back on topic a little bit, the same-sex thing, I kind of got beaten up a little bit by Becky on Friday. She kind of commented on the things like, well, what's wrong with that? Well, there's nothing wrong with, if you love somebody, you love somebody. It's fine, whatever. It is what it is. Who am I to judge, right? But
it's just forcing us to have the conversation before we're ready to have it.
I can tell you right now that if I was in Walmart or the crappy Red Lobster up in Cary, where they don't know how to do customer service and they run out of kids menu stuff by the end of the day, if I was groping my wife in the way that you see people who are celebrating their pride, we'll just put it that way, grope each other in public, we would be asked, sir, we're getting complaints from the other patron. Can you, look, you're going to have, if you can't stop, you're going to have to leave.
Yeah.
Just like that kid. If it was my kid, sir, the people at the next table are just really, they're trying to have a nice dinner and your kid.
Yeah.
allowed to be offended by anything. You know, if I was any other race and my kids were being unruly, it's like, oh, listen, okay, what the hell's happening to them? Because there'll be a lawsuit. There'll be.
But the least offensive thing that we could say today.
Yes.
It's quarter till the hour.
Podgram with Tom and Christy.
They're still at it.
I'm walking two people talk about nothing. Join the conversation. 855-PODGRAM.
It is quarter till, means we have 15 minutes left. If you'd like to join us on the show today, that would be wonderful. We'd certainly appreciate having you with us. There you go, 855-PODGRAM, toll-free call. And we're talking about mostly bad parenting today, I guess. And why parents have a responsibility to teach their kids right from wrong. Whether it's misbehaving in a restaurant, whether it's knocking down high-dollar statues in a museum, whatever it is, I'm still offended by that lady who just sat there. She had to finish her round of Fruit Ninja before she can get up and get her kid that just knocked that thing over. That's the society we live in.
Yeah.
That's where we live. And then, of course,
she had a magazine in her hand. She was just kind of kicking back with her little People magazine.
And she said it should have been protected. Well, no.
But it should have been $132,000 sculpture.
Maybe it should have been. But the first thing out of her mouth was, not my fault. You guys should have protected it. No, you should have kept your kid on a leash is what you should have done.
And the artist is saying, I want to be compensated because it is irreparably damaged.
Yes.
And I want to be compensated for the time and the effort that I put into creating it and its value because I now cannot sell it.
Yeah. And
so, he's got a valid point, but $132,000 sculpture.
That may be over the top, but the point being, once somebody breaks your stuff, you can put whatever value you want on it, unless there's an insurance company involved. I see the insurance company also, there was mention of getting her insurance company to pay for that. Let's pass the buck on to somebody else, right? Right?
Can you get stupid insurance?
I don't think you can. And
is there an insurance for that?
And the insurance company's going to look at what it's made out of, weigh it, and come up with the value of the materials that it's made out of and say, yep, here's $38.
And a Home Depot gift card.
And that's what they're going to give you. They're going to give you $38. Because listen, when I crashed my truck, and the guy with no insurance ran out in front of me and I T-boned him when he blew a stop sign, the insurance company says, well, we'll give you $7,000 for your truck. Well, how am I going to replace it with it? Well, it doesn't matter. That's the value we place on it. And then they say, we can't pay you for sentimental value, mind you. Well, it's not sentimental value. It's replacement value. I can't replace it for that.
Yeah.
Well, sorry. Can't help you.
And then there's the work I did to it, and there's this I did to it.
All the money I dumped into it, and the brand new $1,000 in brand new tires that are on it, that I can't use now. What am I supposed to do with this? But that's how insurance works. They'll give you what they think it's worth. Oh, but it's a 2000 model. It's old. It's not worth anything. Doesn't matter. Let me give you an example. My buddy David has a '98 Silverado step-side, regular cab, 5-speed manual transmission, V8, very, very rare truck, and it's only got 28,000 miles on it. It's never been rained on, and it lives its life in a garage. It certainly is worth more than the $5,000 that every other truck of that year model is booked out at, right?
That's criminal. He needs to bust that baby out.
Well, he does sometimes. It has to be a sunny day. Can't have rained in the last 4 days. But the cool part is when you open the door, it still smells like a new truck inside. When you look at the bottom of the truck, you can still see the wax pencil marks on the frame where they lined up the cross members and stuff.
When they want new car smell, they come to his house and bottle it.
Yeah, sit in his truck for a few minutes. When he drives it, he sits on a towel. He doesn't even sit on the seat. This truck is like brand new. And the thing is, if he goes out and drives this truck and somebody smashes into him, the insurance company's going to say, well, here's $3,500. There you go. It's also worth $3,500. Never mind the fact it's got 28,000 miles on it, and the paint's only ever been wet when he washed it. Doesn't make any difference. So that's how insurance works. So this lady's going to get, $14.95 for that sculpture, and but But the thing is, it doesn't matter. Like my van, for example, at some point last week, somebody dragged a key down the entire side of it. I don't know where it happened, when it happened, but there's a scratch from the taillight to the front turn signal all the way down. They even went around the door handle so they didn't miss any.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know why people do stuff like that. People clearly have no learning. Listen, I don't care. First of all, there's nobody mad at me. I have no enemies right now. I might, but not the kind of people that would come up to my van and run a key down the side. I've done nothing to anybody. I haven't parked in a weird place. I haven't, I haven't done any of that stuff. I haven't, I haven't left my van in the fire lane while I went doing 2 hours of shopping. I haven't done any of that kind of stuff. Parked in the handicap spot with no placard or none of it. Nobody has any reason to key my van, but somebody did. Because, you know why? Because, it's fun to destroy other people's stuff, and that comes from bad parenting.
Yeah.
That comes from, I remember when I was a kid, must have been younger than 4. Hang on, I need some Grapleberry. Hold on.
Okay.
Should have been no hoodlums. No hoodlums plus the point sign. My mother would have beat $100,000 out of my ass. Yeah, that's exactly what. And I'm getting there. That's exactly where I'm going with this next story, Scotty. Here's the thing. We lived in New York, and I was on the street that we lived on. All the houses were exactly the same, just different colors. They were all exactly the same house, right? And I was allowed 2 down each direction because I was like 4, right?
Yeah.
So the house 2 doors down had these ceramic garden gnome Smurf type looking. This is before Smurfs were invented, but they had the same kind of hat. I guess they were like the cue card. But anyway, this ceramic, and I'm not sure, but I think my mother made those ceramic garden gnomes for this lady because my mom was really into ceramics back in the day.
I think everybody was.
Yeah. And so I think she made them for them. Anyway, so I was over there as a 3-year-old smashing them in the driveway because, and so my mom, and I heard her, and as soon as I heard her call my name, I knew my ass was toast. Tommy! And I turned around and looked, and there she was with that look, sideways, I knew, and she came and met me in the neighbor's yard and walked me to the door and made me tell the lady what I had done. And then she proceeded to beat my ass the whole way home by holding me up by one arm, so I was dangling. My feet were not on the... And, 2
tiptoes.
And she was pinating my ass the entire way back to the house, at which time we got in the house, and I think she just full on just beat the piss out of me, and then that was, for the rest of the year, I was just in the corner. But needless to say, now, that I never did that again. It never occurred to me to break somebody's things after that. See, as a 3 or 4-year-old, I may or may not have known that it was wrong.
Yeah.
But when I'm old enough to go somewhere where there's a vehicle and I have keys in my hand, I'm old enough to know better than to do that kind of stuff. Without question.
Well, I had a conversation with one of Evan's teachers, and he had gotten into a fight in one of his classrooms. And I did not say anything to that teacher at the time that it happened.
Yeah.
And I had commented to her about it later on, and she said, Christy, why didn't you call me and tell me? I would have handled it.
Yeah.
I said, well, first of all, he said, Mom, don't do anything because I had it coming because I said something stupid.
Yeah.
Second of all, I'm a firm believer in playground justice. That if you're going to open your mouth and you're going to say something stupid, that eventually somebody's going to get tired of it and they're going to whoop on you.
Yeah.
And that if you do it enough times, you're either going to learn or you're going to wind up dead.
Yeah.
One or the other, it's going to stop.
See, now
I think he needs to learn that lesson.
Yes. See, now I have a problem at my house. Now, we've been back in the house after the hurricane for a year now. We've lived here for a year, okay? We moved back in. The house wasn't done, but we've lived here for a year. And the very first thing that I said to my children was, I don't want food out of the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Because because if you had seen the carpet that came out of this house, the storm did nothing to my house compared to what my kids did to it over the years. The storm did nothing by comparison. It just broke the roof and rained all over the inside of it and destroyed my studio. That's nothing compared to
just washed all the crap out.
That's minuscule compared to what my kids have done to the house over the years. When we pulled the carpeting up in the living room, it looked like a rainbow pop, the floor. There was all different colors and splotches on the floor. Hey, Edgel. Stop by to say hi. Appreciate it, buddy. It's like every color of Kool-Aid spill you can imagine was on the floor, on the subfloor, all the way down the hallway into the den. The carpet was ruined. I mean, it was just completely destroyed. So anyway, so the new rule was, new carpet, we're not eating on it. Right? But I continuously find in the den plates, cups, dishes, fruit peelings on the floor, popsicle sticks, popsicle wrappers, ice pop wrappers, everything. And I have preached and complained and moaned and bitched for a year. Now I've told them, okay, since nobody and nobody owns up to it. Who's popsicle? I don't know. Nobody
Wasn't
knows.
me.
Yeah. So
I didn't do it.
So now I'm kind of relying on playground justice. And I'm saying, okay, when I find any kind of food or drink out of the kitchen, I'm going to spank all of you.
Yep.
And you guys work it out amongst yourselves as to who was guilty. I don't care. I don't care who was guilty anymore. Because because you're all liars. You all lie to me all the time.
I'd rather live with a thief than a liar.
That's right. So the new rule is, let me find it. Let me see it. Because the reason I don't want it is because you guys leave it laying around. If you could bring your bowl and your cup back to the kitchen and put it in the sink instead of just leaving it in the den until somebody knocks it over all over the carpeting, I wouldn't care as much.
My son has... I love him. God, I love him. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
He has decided that anytime we bring him dinner or anytime he eats, it's all got to be on paper products. He wants plastic fork, knife, and spoon.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have to worry about bringing dishes back.
I see. You know, for some reason...
Evan,
For some reason, our little show closer is not going to play like it's supposed to.
What?
I don't know. It stopped. It quit. Our timer is not going to automatically expire today, so I've got to keep a close eye on the time, because that sucks.
Okay. Well, we have 2 minutes left.
We do.
So.
We do have 2 minutes left, yeah.
But I guess in closing, just try and be a better parent, because if you're going to be a better parent, then the next generation's at least going to suck a little less, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Because, at least the last generation before me, their main goal was to try and make a better world.
Yeah. They don't teach that anymore. That's not the way they teach anymore, though. Now it's, it's just little Timmy. Who cares? He's not hurting anything.
No, I want them to have better than I had.
Yes. And that's why, I tell my kids I'm going to spank all your asses. I don't care who's guilty, because you guys all do it. Mm-hmm. Just because this particular bowl isn't yours doesn't mean you don't do it. So when I say I'm going to, well, that's not fair. That's not fair. No, what's not fair is that you guys don't follow my rules in my house, and I don't appreciate that at all.
Yep.
That's the problem. That's what's not fair.
Well, that was a good day for Monday. I think we
just
we killed it for a Monday.
I think we did. And
I think you had a good thought today.
Oh, thank you. I did, and I hope Phil did as well. And
he did.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for hanging out with us, and pay no attention to the fact that this is copyright like 2015 or something like that. That's all I got. Sorry. It's the Podgram. See you tomorrow.
The Podgram.